Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to this exciting new webinar series which we have started with TikTok. I, along with Vincent here, we are going to today discuss about social commerce trends. What are the specific insider tips? How you can succeed on TikTok Shop. So today we are here to discuss on this, and I welcome you all to the stage. Uh, so today I invited my close colleague and a close friend, Vincent, who is going to be on the call with us and is going to assist us on how can we eventually help sellers to bring down more and more sales on TikTok Shop as a whole. Uh, my name is Akash. I handle strategic partnerships at CedCommerce. I've been working for like 7 years with them, right? And Vincent, if you mind giving down an introduction.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here. And thank you, team, for inviting me. So my name is Vincent Ramsey. I'm on the TikTok shop side of the house. Um, you'll probably have seen as you signed up for the webinar that my title is Commerce Partnerships. Honestly, think of that as the TikTok shop app store. And I'm excited to be here. And in a little bit, I'll show what's in store for today.
So, just a quick webinar walkthrough for you listeners. So, starting off, Vincent will be talking of TikTok Shop 101, giving you tips and tricks on how you can move ahead with selling process easier. Then I'll be explaining you about the integration demo. I'll be guiding you of what is the role of integration solution in this. At last, we'll be discussing on the perks of what commerce integration is, and then yes, the most tentative, the Q&A session where we are going to answer to all of your queries. Feel free to write down any of your concern, any of your question, whichever you have in the chat box, just right hand side of your section. You can just write down there all your questions. If that's related with TikTok, Vincent will definitely take it ahead and answer it in the chat once he has done with his section. Or if it's with CedCommerce, I'll take it ahead during the time. And while I'll be speaking, we will be addressing to all the questions in the end of the webinar. So, guys, please buckle up. This is going to be a wonderful ride for all you. Vincent, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So here on the next slide, you guys will see what I have in store for us today. Knowing the crowd, we probably have a mix of knowledge levels, right? Where some of us are curious about TikTok Shop as a marketplace. So you may need some information there. So we'll start a bit more with foundational info there. But some of you, kind of with the premise of this webinar, may already be on TikTok Shop and you're just looking at how do I really start to grow my business in this area? So I'll make sure towards the end that if you're at that portion of your journey, that I give you some tips and tricks that'll really help you drive things forward. But here on the next slide, you'll see that introducing TikTok Shop. So for those of you that may not be aware of TikTok Shop, you have heard it said but don't really know much about it. TikTok Shop is our suite of integrations. So e-commerce solutions directly integrated within TikTok. And if you take one thing home from today on the TikTok side of the house, that's what's really great about it as a marketplace is that every single thing from consideration, discovery, and ultimately purchase, all of it happens right in app. And so as a merchant, this is great because instead of your customers going through something like TikTok, wanting to buy one of your products, now they won't be forced out of the app or have to copy a link in bio to find out more information. It's more of a seamless experience, leading to that better customer experience, which affects the brand perception of the seller. And so that's what's really great is keeping everyone in app. But if we go on to the next slide, I think the next reason beyond it being a seamless experience, the reason it's really clever and has some synergy as a marketplace is that we have some key stats here that I'll chat us through. In the top left, you'll see that TikTok right now has over 1 billion monthly users. So it's a large audience base. But beyond being over 1 billion users, all of those users are also opening the app on average. We have stats on this. They're opening the TikTok app about 17 times a day. And so they're a really engaged, recurring user hopping on there. As we take that number and look to the right, you'll see that TikTok, the hashtag TikTok made me buy it, that has over 61 billion global views of people posting saying that essentially, right, TikTok has influenced their purchasing decision. And you kind of see that coalesce saying that 83% of people state that TikTok has influenced their purchasing decision. And so all of these numbers are on this slide to show that we have a really engaged customer base. They're opening that app 17 times a day. They're looking to buy things. And so being right in the marketplace and giving them that seamless experience is just a great way for you guys to boost your sales. I was recently at Shop Talk though, and I had a lot of people come up to our booth, the TikTok booth, and ask more about TikTok Shop. And on this next slide, I actually think this is probably one of our most helpful slides about what does this mean though? I understand that TikTok is a marketplace now, but what does this look like to customers? And as I think of putting my products there, how can this show up? Or vice versa, if you're in the crowd and you have already started your shop, what are the avenues I have for my products? And so I'll start on the left-hand side and just work my way left to right. The first one is just as you post videos to the channel, it's as simple as a product link. And so you'll see in that screen, it might be a little small, but if you zoom in, there's a little orange line or an orange icon, where it links out to your item directly from your product catalog. So once you have those established, you're using something like CedCommerce. If you're discussing the video, this product that you have, you can just link to that product. And we'll chat more about different types of videos later on in my session. The second thing that's really amazing is live shopping. And so this one is truly as it sounds. As you go live on TikTok, the video you're filming, just like this webinar, is live to everyone watching. You can actually, if you're discussing one of your products and focusing on that, you'll see in that second image on the left that there's a product card that's pinned. That way, if people are very interested in what you're putting out there and the information that you're sharing, they can actually click from that video, again, all within app in just a few clicks. The third one is going to be your overall shop tab or shop showcase. And this is where you guys get to choose what products in my shop do I want to highlight or promote at any given time, depending on your priorities. And then the last one is going to be the shop tab, which is actually the third in the image. I went out of order, team. The shop tab, which I think if any of you are on TikTok, is probably what you're most familiar with. As you look at the app, it adds a navigational item at the top just saying shop. And that's exciting for all of you merchants, where it gives you this marquee position for users to click over and it allows you guys to showcase your products. So, four different ways that you can put your products in front of that engaged TikTok user base, regardless of which one of the four you choose. Once they click in, we're shifting to the right side of the screen where you guys will be able to build your product detail page or import it so that the users know what they're buying. And then it all leads to an in-app checkout. And so really seamless experience. On the next slide though, let's flip it from that customer base and look at you guys as merchants for those that aren't on the shop or maybe don't know all of this and say, what's in it for me, right? So I think the first thing that's extremely different with TikTok is that immersive live shopping experience. As you go live on TikTok, think about this as another great way to engage with your customers. It's a unique way, right? Where now we can establish that direct communication with our customer base. And again, instead of like other social commerce tools, this one you can pin your product so you don't have to keep highlighting it. You don't have to keep holding it up. You can have that card there to highlight it. And again, they can purchase right in app. The second one that's really exciting is that as you think of yourself as a merchant on TikTok Shop, you'll see that we're starting to allude to this seller center. We'll give you a hub. And the second thing there is we give you access to campaigns and promotions, either ongoing ones or even seasonal ones, such as flash sales that we can give, free shipping, store coupons, all in the essence of helping you guys drive your business. And I want to say right around this time, we're starting to launch our spring campaign as well. So a lot of exciting things. We're always trying to help you guys out. So take advantage of that. The third one, and I think this is going to be one that I already preface is going to be an insider tip. You have access to our collaborators, direct creator collaboration. And this is allowing you to discover, communicate, and work with thousands of creators through our open affiliate program right into the TikTok shop. And the reason this is great, and I'll cover and expand on this further, is with TikTok, I would say that the benefit and the pros of it as a marketplace is that anything can go viral. You can't really, we're not talking about ads, we're talking about your shop and your video. Everyone has a chance to go viral depending on what's trending. You can't really buy performance. And with that, working with collaborators that really know the demographic of the TikTok users, they'll be able to help you create videos that really speak to that audience and help you drive your sales. And then, of course, again, also in Seller Center, you'll have performance analysis where you can look at and optimize your performance right in the marketplace. So on this one here, you can see one of my favorite things about TikTok Shop is that you don't need big budgets to tell really great stories. And so depending on, or it doesn't even matter for my merchants that are listening in, what budget you may have or time to dedicate. With TikTok, we've really found, and this is what I've already started to hint at, they're looking for your authentic stories. And it actually is a disservice to put their highly produced videos because they love things to feel native with the exciting content that they're already starting to look through. So at this point of what I've been talking about, you've kind of seen how TikTok Shop reflects for users and how you can take your products and put it in front of them. We've kind of seen some of the benefits that it offers you to as a merchant. But from there, let's push the envelope. And hopefully at this point, you're like, yes, I want in. Or again, like I said in the beginning, you're already on TikTok Shop and you just want to push the envelope a little further. And so let me give you what we have found are great foundational steps to create great content because content is going to be the main driver of your shop performance. So here on the next slide, you'll see that we have these 3 R's that we want you guys to keep in mind with any video. And those 3 R's are relatable, relevant, and real time. So anytime you're putting content on TikTok for your shop, you want to make sure that your content's relatable, right? This means that you can rely on relatable creators. Again, those affiliates that can help bring some reliability and relatability to your products. Or if your user story or your brand story connects with the audience, you can also leverage that. One thing that came up at Shop Talk in one of the seminars that we were in, chatting on social commerce, and TikTok was on stage chatting, was you can't just take content from other platforms and lift and shift it into TikTok. It won't work. So if anyone in the audience has been doing that, I would consider reevaluating that action because it's probably not relevant for the audience that TikTok brings in. And then the last one there is going to be real time. And I think this may be one that a lot of people don't initially do, but you should. When I say real time, I don't mean that your videos are timely or anything like that. I truly mean trends. And I know this is kind of funny because TikTok is known for trends, but we really are. TikTok is all about trends. And so as you think of videos, again, those homegrown, authentic videos, think about what's trending. What are people talking about? What do you see people doing? Scroll through and develop your own algorithm to see what's trending. That way you can kind of take what people are doing just for fun and thinking about how your company, your brand can put its own unique twist on something that already is popular and like naturally popping up on people's feeds. If you are an apparel clothing company, you can think of those videos where people are walking and the outfits just constantly keep changing. A great way to highlight some of your spring clothing lines, for example. Any skincare companies, of course, my nightly skincare routine is always a trending video going in there. You can think of these different things that always gain traction and how that may work best with your product line. With that being said, on the next slide, you'll see that I expand more on this, where as we think of creating that content, you've already got it. You're gonna honor me and you're gonna do relatable, real-time, and relevant content. As you think of the type of content that you start to build, you can kind of see that we've already started to focus on what is your unique selling point But now I want you to start marrying that with what does the audience truly care about? And some questions I recommend you guys note down and ask yourself every time you're starting to do this or your team starts to do this. Think about what is the main storyline of this video? What am I trying to get across? Even more importantly, what is the emotion behind this video that I want to get across? And lastly, what's the reason? Why do users, why should they buy my product, right? And all of this is going to help you really figure out a voice and a tone of your video that's already starting to resonate with that audience a bit more. And so the focus of the types of content that you're creating should be that middle point between what are you bringing to the table? What are people caring about? And that's the sweet spot that I want you to build in. But I know I've been chatting at a very high level. You're probably like, okay, Vincent, I get it. When I make a video, I'm spending time on it. My product's out there. I want to make sure it's good. I'm always making sure it's relatable. So, here on the next slide, let's actually start to look at what are different storylines that you guys can start to get, hopefully, your creative juices flowing. So, you can think of great tactics that work. One thing I'll call out, this isn't holistic, right? These are just things that we've seen work really well and hopefully give you great ideas to start to launch off either as a net new or even as existing TikTok shop merchant. So you'll see that we bucketed them. And on the left-hand side, it's more about showing. And on the right-hand side, more about telling. But let's chat through it. So on the left, under the showing bucket, you'll see that the first one here is a product showcase. And that's exactly like it sounds, and probably what all of us have already thought of with shops, right? This is where we're highlighting your products. It's the star of the show. We're discussing the benefits that it offers and why people should buy it. So I think that one everyone is most familiar with. The second one that you may not have thought of is something that we call a day in the life vignette. And this is where, if you think of a video, the storyline really goes from day to night. And it's all about how does your product kind of weave through that throughout the day, showing various benefits that it's offering. You can see that this starts to push the envelope from the product showcase and starts to make it a bit more real, a slice of life. How can I see this authentically fitting into my life? And you can either create this with your own videos, or again, if we're looking to add relatability to our brand, work with the affiliates. And you can also get people to create videos that you will approve. That way, it still resonates with your brand identity. And then the third one that we have under the showing bucket is more of a step by step instructions. And this one is also exactly like it sounds. If your product is a bit more complex or maybe newer to market, you're a newer category that sometimes takes more education behind it for people to understand what is this, how do I use it, and why should I use it? Step by step instructions are a really great way to do that. And the one kind of product line that I always bring up that I think resonates well with this is skincare, either a product line or product itself. Sometimes people need that educational aspect about how to use this. You can also see this working with certain tech products as well. So all three of these great options, again, depending on what do you guys want to convey, what benefits is it offering, and how do we best get people through that purchasing decision, that buying decision. On the right-hand side, I would say that this is where I've seen more merchants needing this reminder, I would say. I think the left-hand side has been such a part of TikTok and its evolution that those are often top of mind with what they've seen as consumers. But on the right-hand side, these are really great things for you guys to keep in mind as you start to either start your shop or optimize your shop. Under the telling bucket, we have first person stories as one of the first buckets. And this one is really great because this is a chance for you as a brand to either talk about why was your brand founded? Imagine a video about that and some of the products that you've brought to the table and why. Or if you have a newer product coming out or just something you're promoting at any given time, a really great way to put a spotlight on that and talk about why was this product created. Doing that kind of relatability, first person story, it gives people a peek behind the curtain, and allows you to have that space to really authentically chat about why they should buy it, right? The second one here that is very unique to TikTok is what we call responses to comments. And to clarify, this one I do not mean kind of like this webinar, me jumping in and responding to chats in a little bit. What I mean by this is in TikTok, we actually have filters or features for this, where if my screen was a TikTok, one of you may ask something, and I can actually pin it so that your comment is visual and visible in like the corner of my screen. And I would actually make a video responding to your comment. So it's actually a filter or a function. And this is really good because imagine for any of the products that any of you are selling, we all get questions as people want to know more about it. If one of those is what we would have as an FAQ, a frequently asked question, creating a video behind that is kind of a double win because one, your audience visually knows if they see this that it's like, oh, what benefits does your glycolic acid wash offer me? Sorry, team, I love skincare. If you start to answer that and say, this is a really good question I keep getting, the benefits that this product offers is X, Y, and also don't forget Z, you're almost selling to the audience, but in this really genuine way that's also showing that you care about your customer base. You're engaging with them, you're starting to develop that community. So a really underutilized telling storyline that you can incorporate in. And the last one here that I think is great, and hopefully all of you have of mind, is share customer testimonials. Um, in TikTok Shop, and I think any marketplace, right? The consumer has options. We're discovering products constantly. And so I think using customer testimonials is a great way to provide social proof that you guys are really great and the hard work that you're putting in is being recognized by others. And it'll give it confidence to other people. And so make sure you're building up those customer testimonials. You even have filters or functions again where you can share those testimonials as a piece of shoppable content. And if you are still building up reviews, you're newer to TikTok Shop, in Seller Center, check out our app store. We have solutions you can look at to syndicate reviews from other platforms to help get over that hurdle. So that's kind of the first thing, right? Think of the storyline you want to build, and this is on a per video basis. The next thing I want you guys to keep in mind, because again, TikTok is a very unique marketplace, is on the next slide that you see here. Keep in mind the voice, or I'll even throw in the word tone of your video. Down here, we have 6 common frameworks, again, not holistic, that'll help you guys frame this. It could either be humor, information, inspiration, aspiration, entertainment, or emotion. And this is where I want all of you to think and sit there and go, what is first my brand identity as a company? And then for the video that I'm thinking of now that Vincent's putting out these great ideas, what's the tone that I want it to be? The example that I always give is when you think of a candle company. A candle company, as a company, they may think of coziness, warmth, being comfortable, right? And so as they start to think of their storyline, maybe on how a candle is helping someone working from home throughout the day, it's creating that environment. From a voice or tone perspective, we may start to choose music in the background that helps people feel a bit more calm, a bit more relaxed, a bit more comfortable. If I have a voiceover in there, I may want that same voice to be a bit more calm, relaxed, comfortable. And so you can start to see how all of these things about what you guys want to put out there, it starts to weave together. And this all starts to guide the sounds that you choose, the effects that you choose, and even the overall format of the video itself. And then the third thing I want to touch on is just the fun stuff that TikTok offers. And I think that's for this portion on the next slide that you guys are starting to lean into is remember that TikTok is really fun. It's built into our brand DNA. And so on the next slide, number 3 that we're going to share, you'll see that we have a world of options. Don't feel like you need to use everything in here. Start to choose, and I'll chat through each of them so you can figure out, is this right for my brand? The first one that I will say is going to be almost a requirement. It's a must have, is have sound incorporated in your videos, your shoppable videos. In TikTok, it's all about either the music behind it, some of the narrative that someone's talking through, or even those like robotic voiceovers you sometimes hear. So always incorporate an element of sound. That way, as people are scrolling through this app, think of that consumer experience, that it's not dead silent. And so this is a great thing for you guys to incorporate. The second thing is going to be text overlays. And I'll put this in a variety of different ways. So this is just text on the screen, right? And this can be helpful where either, again, maybe you have a product that's a bit more complex, like we always have to explain it a little bit more, then maybe having some key bullet points will just help reinforce the messaging you want. If you're on the other side though, and you're like, no, I sell chapsticks, those are really easy to understand, then maybe you can use text to either just have your brand name in the video, right? Reinforcing that brand identity so they know who to buy from. You start to become top of mind. Or you can even use it for coupon codes. Again, in Seller Center, we give you guys access to promotions or campaigns. And so if you have coupon codes to help you drive sales on TikTok Shop as a marketplace, use those as well. Those are obviously eye-catching to people as consumers. And then everything else, as we start to look at transitions between your videos, filters, and effects, just keep in mind and use those sparingly as you think of making your videos more dynamic, more visual, and eye-catching as people are scrolling through. And I think what's nice is you guys as creators, or if your teams are creating this and you're just the ultimate reviewer, it's all about having fun, right? And the nice thing about TikTok is you get to edit it and review it before you put it out there live in front of everyone. So play around, add a filter, remove a filter, add a transition, take it away. You get to have that kind of final say on, okay, I think this hits all the points that Vincent recommended. I myself am enjoying watching my own shoppable video. This is great. So have fun with it, right? And I think the last thing I'll say on this slide here is if I've said all of that and you're still like, no, this is still scary. This is different than any other marketplace I've stepped into because it's so content or video driving. On the next slide here, I'll end with a call out and then I'll also give some final tips. Right here, we actually have a TikTok for TikTok Shop as a brand or business unit. We actually have a TikTok video. So if you scan this, it'll pull them up and you can always either bookmark it from a mobile point of view or follow them if you have a TikTok account. The team that owns this does daily videos talking about best practices that you guys should start to keep in mind, tips and tricks. You'll actually even see them go live saying, hey, everyone, we have this really exciting limited edition promotion going on. Here's how to get in with that. And so I would say keep that in mind. And then the other thing I'll say is join us on Seller Center. I'll drop the link into the chat if you're not on there already and explain. Yes, perfect. And I see in chat that someone doesn't have their phone on them. I'll also link to this Sell with TikTok Shop page. But within Seller Center that I'll also link into, explore around. The team that owns that week over week is adding new functionality to make your lives easier. Things like, hey, we will give you a templated video where you just upload 5 photos and then we will create the video for you so you can post it. So we're making it easy for you, hopefully. But with that, I'll hand it back to Akash to chat about the integration and the benefits it offers, and I'll be in chat answering questions for anything that was posed.
Such a wonderful speech, Vincent, and I'm really amazed by the way you teach and you rate things to the listeners. I'm sure the sellers here must have understood a lot on this. Great start to the webinar, and I'm so excited for this that we are finally doing this for the sellers, right? And guys, this will be a recorded session. No matter what, if even if you have missed it out, we will be sending out emails to all of you post webinar. Most probably by the next week, early next week, you will have it on your emails. So I'm sure you must have understood a lot about TikTok Shop. You must have got an idea on how to list down the products, what are the specific tips and tricks, how you can improvise your sale. Now moving to the core part of the technology, like how can we actually do this? So before starting that sector, I would like to give a very high level idea of some insider trends, or what I call it like tips for scaling your social commerce business, right? So within this, what I would like to phrase it out is like, first things first, like you need to create a compelling prompts for getting some high engagement on this one, which is a very beneficiary work to do with once you are starting to sell. You also need to focus on your sales initiatives, because the audience on TikTok is purely like Gen Z or the millennials, right? So you need to keep those prompts in mind so that you get more traction on your products. Then you need to stay flexible with the changing trends and with the upcoming trends, and like how does the audience engages with your products. Another factor, you need to utilize the TikTok analytics, which is already available in the back end of your app store, right? So you can use those analytics, try to understand what the trends are going along, what the Gen Zs need, and then post at the optimal time. At last, if you have the budgets, you can collaborate with different influencers, or else you can collaborate with your own friends just to create your own audience base. So these are just some high level idea around the trends and tips on how you could scale your commerce business. Moving ahead, I'll give you an idea on the leading e-commerce integration provider, which is CedCommerce. And I, my name is Akash, and I handle strategic partnerships here. So today we talk about CedCommerce. We have till date 50,000 plus seller base who has been successfully catered with us. We have 150,000 monthly organic visitors who are coming on our website, visiting us, using our services. We have 100 plus integrations which are already live, and these 50,000 merchants are already using them up. At last, we have created 850 plus custom solutions or tailor-made products which are specifically for the need of sellers. So this is just a high-level idea on what CedCommerce is, where we stand in the e-commerce industry, and what do we bring on the table will be discussed in the next slides. So starting off, there are certain pain points which each and every merchants feel, right? To be very honest, I divided them into 6 different sectors: scalability, adaptability, feasibility, control, centralization, and regulation. So these are some common factors which every seller feels as a pain point for them, because in scalability, if you are selling on a singular platform, you want multiple platforms for scaling your products to get more visibility of your products. Adaptability, which means like, let's assume you even scaled, right? But you're not able to manage everything from a single platform. You don't have a single source of truth through which you could manage every order whichever is coming from different platforms. Feasibility, like let's assume you have 100,000 products and you want to upload all of them in a single click. Not possible enough, right? But with CedCommerce it is. Then control, which means like you have the power to set specific inventory levels of what products you want to set it out, so that you avoid underselling and overselling on those products. Then we have centralizations, where we establish inventory and price synchronization from your store to TikTok shop. So if you change your prices on your e-commerce store, those same prices will be updated on TikTok shop as well. At last, it's about regulations which are followed with the terms and conditions of TikTok. So we provide a smooth shipping and refund processes within the solutions itself. These are some pain points which every seller feels, and The solution which we have created covers all of them in a singular package. To give you an idea on the multi-channel integration services, so we technically provide four-step process. To be honest, it's an easy authentication, just one click through auth and you are up to use the solution. We have multi-channel multi-account functionalities which are used within the solution itself. There are hassle-free expansion, which I was talking in the previous slide about scalability. Yes, you can scale with CedCommerce to broader platforms, broader marketplaces, and others as well, and whatnot. So once you are into the funnel, then sky is the limit for you. At last, we could connect any platform with TikTok Shop eventually. So no matter on what platform you are selling, we have the tool for you, and it's the correct piece of tool for you, which helps you to sell on TikTok Shop directly with this tool, and which helps you to automate the process. I have created we have created some GIFs for you, which will give you all an idea on how does this automation within the tool technically works. So, like I was telling, selling on TikTok Shop is now easier with CedCommerce. We have created a tool which is divided into four different sectors. Firstly, once you onboard, you get a dashboard. Then within the dashboard, you have all the analytics of how many products uploaded, how many orders are brought in, what are not uploaded, what are the errors within them. So you get everything in the dashboard. Then you have the product upload grid, you have the orders grid, and you have the return and refund section. Starting off with the product upload, so as you can see on the screen, it's a one-click process, to be very honest. Once you have done the profiling, it's just that you need to click on the upload button, through which you will be able to upload thousands of products within just one singular click. And no matter what error is coming on that, that will also be visible under the section of not live products, where you can see that not uploaded products. You will be able to hover them and see what specific errors those products are showing, so you can recorrect them and try to upload it again. Now, talking of onboarding, so as you can see, it's a very simpler step. We take authorizations directly from TikTok Shop. You just need to click on the auth button, and we also have our own live chat option, which is just right down the corner. You can see it down there. So this is available within the app itself. So there is an actual customer care executive who's sitting down there trying to answer your concerns. And this is not a bot. There's an actual BDA person who is sitting down there, what time of day it is. He'll be there. You just ping him up that I need assistance in onboarding, I need assistance in product upload. He will be there to help you out in whatever stuff you are stuck in, and he will take you through the process. However, the process is very simple. It's just a singular click. We also have the documentations and the video tutorials available, which will be helping you in getting the onboarding. But still, if you're not able to do that, no need to worry. Just use that button, which is right down the corner within the app itself. Once you have onboarded, you just ask them, I'm unable to onboard. They will take you ahead with this. Once you are into the product, into the dashboard, you have uploaded your products, you have onboarded on TikTok Shop. Now, let's say you are getting orders from TikTok Shop. So within that section, you will be able to see the orders grid. You just need to click on that and click on fetch orders button. As soon as you click on that, your all the order statuses, all the order sections will be brought back into the system itself, and you will be able to see all the TikTok Shop orders within the CedCommerce panel itself. And this is done automatically. Even if you're not clicking the fetch orders button, there are AWS microservices which are running in the backend. These microservices are there for your help. No matter whether you acknowledge the order or not, there's an auto acknowledgement sent in every 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so, based on the server utilizations which you are doing. And we bring the orders from TikTok Shop back into the CedCommerce panel. And from the CedCommerce panel, you will be able to ship the orders directly. That shipment is also automated with us, and once that we get the tracking ID, we update that automatically against that order ID on TikTok Shop as well. So the complete process is handled on the centralized platform which we have created. You don't need to log into any other setup or any other seller centers. You need to manage, you could manage everything from this portal itself. Now, some benefits for the TikTok shop integration, like I was telling you, the most important piece is 24/7 human support. We have a exclusive member who is present down there. Not everyone provide this at this cost, what we are doing. So there's a 24/7 human support. You can ask of whatever help you need it from. We have real-time production order syncing with the help of the AWS microservices, which we are using right now. We have a centralized dashboard for order, inventory, price, and product management. Everything is done on the singular dashboard. So if you get all this, obviously your operational efficiency get enhanced. So these are just some ideas of benefits of TikTok shop integration with CedCommerce, which you get. Now come to the exciting part. So, for all you listeners who have stuck down till here at the end of the webinar, we are happy to offer you 20 orders free, no matter what, no questions asked. Just ask the customer care executive that I have joined the webinar. Here's the link for that. And here's my email ID. You can check it up from there. So, that person will give you the credit of 20 orders, no matter if you take, like, let's say 1 month or 15 days or 5 days, or let's say 3 months to get your first 20 orders. The solution will run free of cost for you, including the support as well. There is no hidden, there is no extra charges which you need to pay. This is a completely free solution for all of you. Even after the 20 orders are done, we start as low as $9, right? So the pricing starts from $9 and goes as high as, depending on your uh, order count, $19, $29, $39, depending upon how much order count you need. But it starts at $9 even after the 20 orders. So it's a very, very bare minimum prices which we have kept for you all listeners, right? So why not just try it out? This is right now completely free. I'm happy to onboard all of you on the TikTok Shop Connector by CedCommerce. So this is one of the testimonial. If you can just play the video on the next slide.
Hi, my name is Monique. I'm the owner of the Kitchen Bruja Botanica. I recently switched over my Shopify to TikTok using the help of CedCommerce. CedCommerce is an app that has been very helpful to me as a business owner, and integrating these two platforms. First and foremost, I find CedCommerce to be very user-friendly. The user interface is very easy to use. I like the feature of the bulk uploading of the products from one side to the other. Is pretty much, they make it very seamless, a seamless process, as well as I'm very happy with the customer support that I've received so far. The reps are very helpful, very knowledgeable. They're available on WhatsApp most of the time that I reach out to them. And I find that to be very great considering that we're on two different time zones. I highly recommend it for any business owner wishing to take their Shopify site to TikTok or Facebook.
Great. This is such a wonderful review of us, right? And this is one of our prime customers, Monica, who has been using our services from the last 6 months approx. So you can take advantage of this. You have heard it directly from her. So now I open the stage for all the Q&A. Please feel free to type in all your questions in the chat box itself. I and Vincent are here to answer anything which comes into your mind on this whole context.
Yeah. Actually, I saw a question
Yeah.
from Juliet, if I'm saying your name correctly, easier to answer live. And what they asked, if you guys can't see it, is can you elaborate on shifting and lifting content, which is
Yeah.
one of the things I mentioned about avoiding. One thing I can think of is depending on which social platform you're using to kind of gain eyes, sometimes, right, it can be as simple as beautiful graphics that are in a carousel kind of form. It talks about what's happening, what's the timeline, why is this exciting? You can't necessarily just take that and create a video that slides through those same slides, which a lot of brands try to do because as we work with agencies or creators or even our own internal resources, trying to use that for multiple purposes is obviously cost effective. But when it comes to TikTok, it's all about the stimuli, right? Exciting videos. And so those are things where I'm not saying it never works, but I would say maybe try the inverse, where we've actually seen that, right? Where people are like, oh, I don't have a TikTok account, but I've seen videos pop through that kind of got copied over. And so I would say try starting with your TikTok creative first, and then seeing how that performs on other platforms, because I would say the likelihood is higher there as opposed to grabbing something from another platform and putting it onto TikTok. So hopefully that kind of clarified a little bit, Juliet, but let me know if you have any further questions.
I saw one more question. It's by the name of Scenes. I'm onboarded. How do I grow my TikTok now?
Yeah, I would say one, what is the metric we're using to talk about growth, right? Are we talking about followers for your linked channel? Is it sales, etc.? For me, I'm going to assume that whenever we're talking about TikTok shop and growth, we're all focused on sales. And I would say start to focus on using any of those seasonal or ongoing campaigns or promotions. I think those are really great ways where TikTok is hungry to help you guys out, especially as you're really early on in evaluating this as a marketplace. Take advantage of that. And then I think tied in with that second question that came through on tips on finding good influencers, I would say that work through either the affiliate network. Those are great people signing up for the program, and they're actively doing work to try to funnel the right affiliates to all of you. So that's a great way there. But also, if your budget permits it, we actually have service partners that can help you with this. More, I would say, established brands, right? More agency than some young creator. And so when you're on Seller Center, if you're already on TikTok, there's a little header that says growth. And within that, you'll see services. And that's a great way to find companies that you can work with. And I think to the point of not generating sales, the videos were shorter basic. That might be the path you want to take if you have better, like more stringent parameters of, I'm looking for videos of this length. These are the points I want you to hit. And so I think it depends on where you are in your journey and the size that you have as well behind you. So Phil, hopefully that answered your question. Same with that initial one that came through on growing.
Yeah.
And I thank you for confirming that it was sales.
There's one more question for you, Vincent. Mr. Vincent, why does TikTok prohibit drop shipping from China? For someone like me who is just starting drop shipping from China, China is a very convenient for fulfilling orders.
Correct. Yeah, this one, once we start to get into policy, that one unfortunately isn't my realm of expertise. I would say work with our governance team. Usually they provide rationale and the status of, again, similar to an earlier question, those rejection notices, and they'll be able to tell you explicitly why this does or does not work. And then you can always try and make an exception. They allow you to make a case there, and then they'll let you know if you provide more details, whether it works or it doesn't.
Yeah. And another good drop shipper for you, Juliet, will be I remember I worked with Inventory Source, right? So that can be one prospect. Guys, feel free
By
to
the
drop
way,
questions.
yeah, and we've had an engaged crowd. Usually that I've gotten in other webinars to this point and there's no questions. I like to joke that it makes me feel like I presented everything we needed to, same with you, but I'm enjoying this engaged crowd. So thank you all, by the way.
Yeah, it's wonderful, wonderful. The TikTok audience is obviously really great. Great. Any other questions, guys? We still have 7 minutes on the clock. Any questions? If nothing, we can wind it up. Yeah, Juliet, great to hear that. But no matter what, you can drop in an email to us. We can definitely help you out with the good drop shipping agencies working from the US itself, right? So that will not be barred from their side. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think the final tip I add with is truly that seller center. Just keep exploring there, and hopefully all of you grabbed either the US or the UK channels for the teams that manage that.
Right.
Follow those accounts. There's new and exciting updates happening truly week over week. So just make sure you stay ahead of that to know what tools you have in your arsenal. But I did see another question come through. Fully advanced brand info. Great question. So I would say that having a number of violations for not understanding policies, those violations won't be removed. They're really in place for all of our benefits, right? For us to have trust in the products that are listed on there and the brands that are listing on them, for consumers to be able to safely purchase, and for you guys as well to have consumers that trust so they're more willing to buy. I would say that with the policies, those violations won't fall off. But something helpful is, again, Phil, if you're not already, go on Seller Center, and we have something called Partner Academy. And for me, Partner Academy or Seller Academy, TikTok Academy has been the best bet to read through things at your own pace. That way you can figure out, and it provides you more copy, more explanation on what's needed and why. Because I know, to your point, sometimes when you hover over those violations, there's only so much they can say for a status update or rationale. So check out the Academy. That's a lot of great info that you can read through to then circle back and start to work through resolving those things so that we can get you listed. And then Juliet, to your point, is there a way to gain more views on products without video content? One thing I would actually challenge you all to think of is when you think of video, it doesn't necessarily need to be actively recording a live view or, air quotes, live view. In Seller Center, they've actually created, I think, to your point of, hey, if I'm just getting started and I'm not as familiar with this platform, what can I do? They have templated videos where really it'll tell you out the requirements, and it might be a great place for someone like you to start, where it'll say like, hey, you just need to upload 5 photos, and then we'll generate a video. It's more of a slideshow type video, but it'll be in a format or with some great formatting and effects that make it more dynamic. So I would encourage you to do those, and that way, hopefully, if you have photos on hand, Seller Center and TikTok Shop can help you create the video behind it.
Just one more question by Sanbir. What are the rules of having copyrighted music in my videos?
Yeah, honestly, and actually, I would answer this in a different way. I would say rather than going in and trying to enter the TikTok with music in mind, I would start to create your videos on TikTok and look at what are actually trending sounds.
Right.
I think that's an aspect that we don't chat about enough, but we've seen a resurgence, right, in either older songs coming into prevalence with Gen Z as they listen to something that we all grew up with, or there's kind of like the TikTok remix of songs. I would start to focus on those because that's a great way where if you're using a trending sound, it adds you into this category of being a more relevant video, more up to date. So I would play around with that rather than trying to work in your original ideas for music and then seeing if it works on the TikTok platform. I'd inverse it in your creative process. This one here, yeah, unfortunately for this one, I can't comment too deeply on policies just because I'm not on the team that makes it. It's working on partners like CedCommerce. I would say as a new starter on TikTok, the violations are off-putting. I feel like there could be more leniency. I would say it's always a balance, right? I can't comment on it, but there's definitely rationale for why they're in place to make it a trusted marketplace. But work with the team, right? If you don't think the thing that's mentioned is working for you or that they misunderstood, go ahead and try and resolve it, and then we can work from there. But it's on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah. I think for the policies, you need to work with the governance team, right, Juliet? So, guys, we are short on time here. So we just have 2 minutes in our kitty. I thank you all for staying till late with us. It's been such a wonderful audience, so engaging. I really love this energy, love this vibe. And thank you, Vincent, once again for coming on to this podium, for engaging us with the wonderful insights which you have. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Vincent.
Of course. Thank you, team. And exactly, email the team if any outstanding questions exist, and we can work to get answers if anything's still top of mind. But thank you, Akash and team, for hosting this. Audience, you guys have been great and very engaged. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you in some other webinar. We'll keep this rolling as a monthly webinar, tips and tricks. So stay tuned. Thanks a lot.
Bye, everyone.